Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Raja Umar on my channel RU Speaks, and we are discussing the subjects of global perspectives and Pakistan studies in our lessons over here on this channel. So I request you to subscribe, like, watch, comment, and share on my videos. I have already uploaded, and we are now going to start the Pakistan Studies Component 2 geography portion, and we are going to start the seventh unit, that is the power sources, as it is closely linked up with the mineral resources. In the last unit we talked about the mineral resources, and now we are moving to the power sources, and in this particular unit we will discuss the uh, how different types of powers are being generated in Pakistan, what is the importance of those one and where they are located, and what sort of challenges we are facing towards the development of those resources in Pakistan. So first of all, uh, why not to go to the uh, syllabus content, and then to find out that what we need to study in this particular unit regarding power sources, so that we can be able to have the clear view, and we should be learning better that what actually Cambridge demands from us from this particular unit, and what can be done for the meeting the requirements of Cambridge. So here we are on the syllabus content, and here you can see, here we have the unit of power. So you can see that candidates should be able to describe with the help of a simple diagram for each method of power. We will talk about the hydroelectric power, we will talk about the thermal power, we will talk about the nuclear power, we will talk about the solar power, wind power, and a bit about the geothermal, tidal, and biogas and biomass. So we will talk about these in really very summarized form, but these ones, hydroelectric, thermal, nuclear, solar, and wind, in a bit detail. So here we have, and how non-renewable fuels, for example, they are being used over there in these ones. We'll talk about that. This is the renewable power resource, this one is non-renewable, this one is non-renewable, solar is renewable, wind is renewable, geothermal is renewable, tidal is renewable, biomass and biogas renewable. I mean, we'll talk about that, what will be the impact of the renewable power sources on the economy of Pakistan, and what will be the impact of the non-renewable resources on the economy of Pakistan. Then coal as obtained by open cast, edit, and shaft mining methods. We will also discuss the mining methods. Then the natural gas and crude oil obtained by exploring and drilling. Understand the difference between the renewable and non-renewable resources of electricity. Explain briefly how electricity can be generated from renewable resources, hydel, wind, solar, and other possibilities such as wave, tidal, biofuel, or geothermal. Understand the importance of power sources for development in Pakistan. So today we are going to talk about the hydroelectric power generation and thermal power generation, and in the next lesson I'll talk about the explorations of the certain mineral resources in Pakistan. We'll talk about that, how coal is mined, and how mineral oil is mined, and how natural gas is mined from the earth, and in the same way I will also talk about the difference of the renewable and non-renewable resources, and it is quite common, and each and one of you already knows that what is meant by this one. And then I will also talk about the different methods of mining of coal, that is the open cast, edit, and shaft mining, in the next lesson. But today I'll talk about the power generation of hydroelectric and thermal. So they, as I believe that they were really very important. That's why I took them as my first lesson of this one. Then with the next lessons, I will also explain the other parts of the syllabus over here. So this is what you need to know in whole of your this unit of power sources. What is the demands of the Cambridge for this particular unit? Now moving on, here we have the power sources in Pakistan, and Pakistan installed power capacity reached to 46.2 gigawatts in 2024. This robust infrastructure is fueled by diverse resources, including hydroelectric, thermal, nuclear, solar, wind, geothermal, biomass, and biogas. These power sources are critical for driving Pakistan's industrial and economic growth. So this is the intro that why they are really very important and what are the main methods Pakistan is currently using to generate power over here to meet the needs of the industry and of the households. So geographic spread of Pakistan's power sources, that the locations of the certain power sources sites where the power is being generated through different means. So hydroelectric power, I mean the power which is generated through water in the north of Pakistan, especially Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Gilgit-Baltistan, Punjab, and Azad Kashmir as well. If we talk about the Mangla Dam. So thermal power, nationwide, many thermal power stations are installed, few under the government control, and many are under the private sector as well. So they need coal, gas, and other oil reserves to run these thermal power stations as they fuel the plant to convert that water into steam first, and then that steam is able to move the turbines for the sake of generating power. Then nuclear power plants, Chashma, Miawali, Chestnut, and Canap, Karachi nuclear power plant, and Chashma nuclear power plant. They are, one is located in Punjab, Miawali, and the other one is in Sindh province, that is Canap, Karachi. So we will also discuss them in the next lessons. Solar power, Punjab, Sindh, Balochistan, major plants and rooftops. We see that now the people are switching their energy resources toward the renewable ones, that is the solar power, and everyone is trying to install the solar panels over their rooftops so that to avoid the high electricity cost they are bearing, just because the majority of the power is being generated in Pakistan is through thermal means, and that is really very expensive as it is being fueled by the fossil fuels, that is the coal, gas, or oil, which are most of the time imported to run those thermal power stations. That is a big issue for the government and even for the people who are bearing the cost of very, very expensive electricity. Wind power, Sindh, Jampir, Gharo creeks, they are the areas where there is the wind turbines installed. And in the Balochistan, the potential is there to install the wind turbines over there on the coastal areas, Makran coast. So as we see that along the coastline of Balochistan, very especially, and Sindh, the wind blows to the greater extent, and that wind can be utilized to generate power in the form of installing more and more wind turbines over there. So geothermal, biomass or biogas, they are emerging, not really very much familiar, and localized efforts are being done by the people. And for example, if we talk about the biomass, so bagasse is used as fuel in the sugar industries, as the crush of the sugar cane, the husk of the sugar cane is used over there in the same industry to generate power for that industry. So that is one really good example that the waste of the sugar cane is used in the sugar industry to generate power. So now talking about the hydroelectricity in Pakistan. So dams and reservoirs are the major source of hydroelectricity in Pakistan. Water stored behind a dam builds potential energy. Turbine generation, released water spins turbines and creating mechanical energy, electricity and transmission. Generators convert that mechanical energy into the electrical energy for the grid, and that is what we call the charge, the power which is generated by the generator to after the conversion of the mechanical energy into the electrical energy. Hydroelectric power accounts for 29% of the Pakistan's total power. Major dams like Tarbela in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Mangla in Azad, Jammu and Kashmir, and Ghazi Barotha in Attak, Punjab are very, very crucial. This source also supports vital irrigation and industrial zone downstream. As we also know that there is another important project going on, that is the Amir Basha Dam in the northern areas district the Amir, just above Kohistan. So importance for first going to the importance of the hydroelectric power. Let me go to the uh, the hydroelectric power station diagram so that we can explain that one by showing the whole of the process of hydroelectric power in Pakistan. If you just look at this picture, you will see that here we have the reservoir at the back end. This is the lake of the dam where the lot of water is stored just because of the construction of this whole dam wall. If you see that here is the intake and there are gates installed that to manage the water into the penstock where the water comes and it strikes the turbine over here. Here you can see the turbine is installed over here, and this water rotates this turbine, and after rotating the water leaves the outlet through this outlet and goes into the downstream water channel of the same river. And just because of the rotation of this turbine over here, the mechanical charge is produced over here in the generator, and that mechanical charge is converted into the electrical energy, and that is transmitted through these three transmission lines to the transformer over here. You can see that the transformer is installed, and from the transformer the electricity is installed is transmitted to the grid system. That is what we call the high power transmission lines, and it is supplied to the different areas of Pakistan. So this is whole of the, you can see this one is known as the powerhouse. I mean the area where the turbine is installed, generator is installed, and even the transformer system is also known as the part of the powerhouse. So here we see that the power is generated, and that is known as the powerhouse, and this is whole of the diagram of the hydroelectric power station in some dam like Tarbela Dam, Mangla Dam, Ghazi Barotha, or we see that there are certain bigger projects in the pipeline. That is, as I told you, the Amir Basha Dam. So this is how the power is generated. This one, and you may be getting this sort of picture in your exam, and you are asked to label 2 or 3 different things over here. As you can see that this is labeled as how, I mean the reservoir intake over here from this side, and then this is the penstock, the tunnel from where the water is coming into the powerhouse, and this water rotates this turbine is the another part you are supposed to label, and then this turbine's rotation creates the mechanical energy which is converted over here in the electrical energy in generator can be another part you are supposed to label, and then the transformer over here, and then the transmission lines, right? And now the outlet or downstream water channel can also be asked to label. So this is how this whole structure is really very important. You are supposed to learn it really very carefully, and you are supposed to label the whole of this diagram in best possible way, so that you may not be losing any mark while labeling this diagram. Now coming back to the, so this is what was explained over here, that how this power is generated, and it is 29% of the total power generated in Pakistan. So importance of hydroelectric power for Pakistan. cost efficient. As you know that water is not the expensive product or the raw material which is used for the sake of generating power, as it is naturally available through the glaciers melting, through the monsoon rainfall, and the fast flowing rivers are already available in the north of Pakistan, so can be utilized really very effectively. So hydroelectric power boosts low operational cost. It is a renewable energy resource, but on the other hand, construction cost or the seed cost is really very high. Constructing a big dam is really very expensive. Purchasing hundreds and thousands of acres of land for the sake of constructing that dam which is required. Deforestation is another issue, that the deforestation is done for the sake of construction of dams, so they are the negative ones, the disadvantages. So industrial support, it is essential for vital industries, textile, cement and steel, which consume a lot of power. So to provide them sufficient power, it is must that the hydroelectric power should be used on the should be produced on the low cost, so that the industry might be using low cost electricity to produce products on the cheaper rates. So economic boost, this energy reduces import bill, as we may not be importing the fossil fuels like coal, gas or oil for the sake of generating power through thermal means. If we develop the hydroelectric power station in Pakistan like Tarbela and Mangla, we can be having really very cheaper form of electricity available, and there would be reducing the burden on our import bill, and we may not be having the huge cost to bear because of the importing oil, gas or coal for the sake of generating thermal power. It also stabilizes and national power grid. You know that it is the consistent water supply, as water is coming down the stream all the time, and there is the sufficient water reservoirs available from which the water can be released to generate more and more power. So it means that generating power through the hydro means, the hydel power is really very much reliable. Hydroelectric power is a cornerstone of Pakistan's energy strategy. Its renewable nature and low operational costs provide significant economic advantages. It reduces our reliance on imported fuels, improving the trade balance. It also provides a stable and reliable power supply, crucial for uninterrupted industrial operation and economic growth. So this is how it is really very important to having the the development of hydroelectric power in Pakistan, as it is really very much reliable and cheaper one. So now talking about the thermal power in Pakistan. So thermal power requires certain fuels like coal, gas or oil are fed into the system. Boiler system, fuel combustion heats water to produce high pressure steam, and that steam is actually rotating those turbines. It is really very much like the pressure cooker at our homes we use for the sake of cooking the harder materials or harder food like meat. So you can see that because of the pressure which is created within the cooker, that rotates that weight placed over the cooker lid. In the same way, when the fuel is burnt over there and it heats up the water over there in the thermal power station, and that heated water turns or converts into steam, and that steam under pressure moves those turbines just like the weight of the cooker at our homes. So just because you see that, and that weight of the cooker starts rotating over there on that cooker. So in the same way, when the steam passes through those turbines, they rotate, and again the same process starts, that the mechanical energy is produced, and that mechanical energy is converted into the electrical energy in the generators, and then to the transformers, and then to the transmission lines. So the rest of the process is same. Only the matter is that over there in the hydroelectric power, the turbines are moved with the pressure of water, but over here the turbines, they move with the pressure of the steam, which is made through the burning of certain fuels like coal, gas and oil. So turbines and generators, steam spins turbines connected to the electric generators. Power output, electricity is generated and distributed through the transmission lines. So the process is same on the rest. Only The difference is that at one end the water is being used to rotate those turbines, and on the other, in the other method, the water is first heated up, converted into steam, and that steam rotates those turbines. Thermal energy comprises a significant portion of Pakistan's power mix. Regasified liquefied natural gas, that is RLNG, contributes 22%, with major plants at Haveli, Bikki, and Balochi in Punjab. Coal-fired plants located in Sahiwal, Port Qasim, Sindh, and Thar Desert, they are also really very vital. So it means that thermal station power stations, they are scattered across Pakistan. Like very important one, that is the Capco Kot Addu Power Company located in the district Muzaffargarh, Punjab. In the same way, the thermal power stations on Port Bin Qasim and Sahiwal region, and then there are certain ones over Haveli Bahadur Shah, Bikki, and Balochi power plants in Punjab. So up to this point, this is, you see that the thermal power station. Now I'm going to explain the power plant, thermal power plant, that how the thermal power is generated. Here we have the diagram showing the overall generation of the thermal power in Pakistan. So here you can see that the water is fed up, and water is, this one, blue one is water, and the red one is steam, right? So it means that water is supplied into this tower, and over here through these pipes the water is converted into, because of the heat and as the fuel is being given, because of the burning of the fuel over here, and water fed pumps are over here. So you can see that the water is heated up and converts into steam, and that steam rotates these turbines, and then that steam comes to this one. After rotating those turbines, the steam comes to this container that is known as the condenser, and this condenser cools down that steam again and converts it into water, and again that water is supplied to that tower for the sake of creating more steam, for the sake of generating more power. So turbine, then turbine to generator, and from generator to the transformers, and then the transmission lines, and this one is the cooling tower to cool down whole of the system. So this is how you can see that over here the major factor is water, which is supplied over here in this powerhouse, and then this powerhouse is heated up with the help of burning fuel, and that fuel heats up the water to such an extent that it converts into steam in this area, and that steam goes to the powerhouse, moves this turbine, and mechanical energy is produced, and that is transmitted to the generator for the sake of converting that mechanical energy into the electrical energy, and then to the transformers, and then to the transmission lines, and that steam comes down to this container, the condenser, where it is cooled down and again converted into water, and then supplied back to the powerhouse. So this is how, this is whole of the process of thermal power station, where the power is generated through thermal means, I mean through heat energy first. So this is how we have studied that how this whole of the process goes on, and one way, the good thing is that thermal power stations can be installed elsewhere in Pakistan and can be really very effective to generate more power for the sake of industrial growth and to meet the needs of the huge population of Pakistan. But on the other hand, they are really very much dangerous as well, as they are not really very much environmental friendly, and they are creating the pollution concerns and climate, the things are moving towards climate change. On the other hand, they are creating a greater burden on the Pakistan's economy, related to the increasing the Pakistan's circular debts, and Pakistan's burden on the foreign exchange by paying billions of dollars every year to import oil, coal, and gas for the sake of meeting the needs of these thermal power stations, Pakistan. And what is the impact coming finally? The impact is coming on to the poor people of Pakistan, who are bearing the very costly electricity cost over there on their shoulders, and they are unable to pay their bills. So in one way, they are good ones, that they are readily available, and the electricity is being produced over there in those power stations and being supplied to the households and meeting the industrial and domestic needs. But on the other hand, they are creating greater troubles for Pakistan. So what is perceived, we are supposed to move towards the cheaper form of electricity, that is the hydroelectric power. So this is all about from my side today. Do not forget to subscribe my channel RU Speaks, as Raja Omar speaks for you only. So in the next lessons, we will talk about the explorations of the certain minerals over here which are used to generate power in Pakistan, and also we'll talk about certain renewable and non-renewable resources like nuclear and solar power, and including wind and other ones in the next lessons. Keep watching. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.